What's up, man?
So did you move the Grammys behind you for this, or
No,
did?
I said I don't have a camera on in
Okay,
front of my thing. I have to put it on the side. So it is a nice view though.
it is a nice view. Yeah, I was just
But
curious, or if you had enough of them that they just went all the way around the room.
Mhm. Got a few.
Proper answer.
So how you doing, man? So we were talking about the weather before. You said that it's
It's
eight.
84 degrees. Everyone is, wants their songs done now because they're going on vacation.
Yeah, the music industry dies in like less than 24 hours.
Oh, but most of the times they do this and then your mix just sits on someone's desk for like 3 weeks anyway.
I know that's the thing is the music industry died 2 weeks ago. It's just all the artists and producers are still like, oh, we got to get this done. But I mean, everybody on the back end's already fucking. They're in.
Right. Yeah, no, and then right away, like January 2nd, I'm flying to Argentina.
Oh, you're going to Argentina.
I'm glad I'm going then and not now. Have you seen the crowds with the World Cup?
You can't get anywhere.
That's insane. So yeah, I'm gonna get there right after that. I was supposed to be there now,
Oh no.
but then they moved the project. No, I'm glad.
Well, that's exciting that you'll be able to go down there for that.
Yeah, I haven't really traveled for work since the pandemic. I mean, I had to set this up at home um, when the COVID thing went down. And
Well,
I'm sorry, and now everyone's like, no, you can do it at home, Cesar. It's okay with me.
you know, um, you and I have had a lot of conversations about moving forward into the world that we're currently working in and workflows and stuff like that. And you had a great saying for Patch Base. What's your motto on Patch Base?
Oh God, I forgot, dude.
It was I left the Patch Bay days behind me.
Oh yeah, yes. No, now I'm a digital man, dude. I want nothing to do with analog. I did a million records, on big consoles, and I love it. But I love the fact that I love this now, and it's easier for me to make revisions, and like right now I'm going to Buenos Aires, so I'm throwing my laptop, an S1, and a couple of tablets in a backpack, and my workflow comes with me. All my macros, my faders, plugins, everything I have is gonna be with me. So
That's amazing.
it's nice that I can do that now. I mean, I remember I used to walk into these studios and I would get there 2 hours before to get all my racks of gear set up. And then if they needed to do a recall, they had to call me back. So I
Yeah.
was using like mountains of gear. I wish I would have kept it, but
So, you know, you've had a very exciting year. It's about to wrap up, but tell us some of the projects that you're most excited about from
oh
2022.
good, my memory's not good. The one I'm doing now, it's a duet between an Argentinian singer by the name of Andrés Calamaro and a band called Miranda, which I've worked with. I've done a million records for them. So to be honest with you, it's been so crazy lately that if you ask me what I had for lunch yesterday, I'm gonna say I don't know. But I've been busy. You know how it is for us. We're either swamped or we're slow.
Well, this does not seem like it was a slow year for
It,
you.
it's always no. It was on and off. I have plenty of time to go ride my bike in the Everglades.
Go ride your bike in the Everglades. You're not afraid of getting bitten by a crocodile or an alligator?
No, man, we ride the service roads.
So,
No
and I
gators.
repeat, you're not afraid of getting bitten by a crocodile or an
No,
alligator.
those things. I never see them. I mean, you'll see a gator on the water, but I'm not on the water.
Yeah, true.
So wild. So when did you originally come over here and start working?
In the United States,
Yes.
I've been in the United States since I was in seventh grade. My dad dropped me off in a boarding school in Massachusetts, and,
Really?
and then yeah, and then I was not invited to come back to the school in my senior year. So the letter my dad got. Um,
Maker.
and then my first job was here in Miami. I hated Miami. Miami was the place where the only thing you could do here was go shopping and go to the beach, and I hated both. But that's how life is. My first job was here, and I've been here since '87 in Miami.
Damn.
I've been
Okay.
doing this. I'm not a kid anymore. Been doing this 35, almost 36 years.
So you've watched this whole transition from 2-inch tape to digital to,
I
you
had to adapt. I mean, a lot of people that I worked with are not doing this anymore.
absolutely. And
Back then, they're not.
and in my opinion, your skills when it comes to workflow are some of the most forward thinking that are happening right now, you know, with the stuff that you're doing with Stream Deck and all that stuff.
The thing is that when I'm working, I like it when I don't have to think about mechanical stuff.
You're
Because
sharp, brain
I'm
smooth.
so connected musically to the song that if I have to spend 3 hours setting up a button that'll do something that's 4 steps, I'll do it. Just because in my creative moment, it's gonna make everything better for me.
Understood.
So I have a pretty nice setup right now at home, as far as all these macros here, and then the soundflow stuff, and I know what this little room sounds like now, so I'm pretty comfortable here.
So talk to us about SoundFlow and your macros and how you go about using those.
The beauty about soundflow is that you have to look at your way of working. Everyone's different. So every time you find yourself doing something that's 2, 3, 4 steps, you need to write it down so you don't forget, because when you're working, you're gonna think about it, but you're not gonna do it. So I have in my first tablet, I have things that I always do, like duplicate track, copy inserts, paste inserts, all the grids. I have all the things. So if I have to do something, I don't have to grab the mouse. I just hit a button. I have one that makes a backup and adds the word backup and adds it to a certain drive. I have one that just makes a quick MP3 for me to go check it out on the phone or in the car. Just things that you always do. And then I have the ones that prep my sessions. Those are wonderful. Because if you open a session that I mix, the drums are always going to be the same color. So is the bass. So is everything. So it's a lot easier. I mean, everything is organized. And
so how much user input do you have to put into something like prepping your drums? Do you have to go and make sure that they're labeled the same every day? So like if the kick drum comes in labeled foot, do you have to go change that to kick drum so it knows which track?
no, man, it depends. If the session has short names, which I rarely get, I always get like the yellow pages on each track. I don't know what the hell it is. I like short names so I can see them on the OLED displays on the S1. That way I can just look, and it's like looking at a console.
Yes.
So I'll do the short names if I have to, as I go.
Yeah, but will your workflow automatically color those without doing that?
Yes, if I select all my drums, it will add them to a folder, name the folder, make a group and a VCA, disable the VCA, and color the drums a certain color.
But you have to go select the drums and then hit your button.
Right. I have to select the tracks I want, hit the button, and boom, it's done.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out exactly, how much of the workflow was automated. Could you just like throw files at this thing and it does this shit for you?
No, I mean, I make it simple for it not to mess up, I mean, I try to make it as easy as I don't like to complicate things. So if I have to label a hard drive 1 because I'm gonna have it go look for the only thing that has a 1, I'll do that.
Yep.
I'll just simplify it until it works.
That's awesome.
And then I have my rack of gear. Hold on. This is really like looking at a rack of gear, because when you have the visual plugins, when you have them in front of you, it's a whole different thing than thinking and going through a menu and shit. It's like you look at something, you go, oh wow, let me try the Soundtech, or let me try whatever, and you just have it there. You press the button and it's on.
Okay, so let's go over your rack of gear then. We'll dip straight into the top 5. Pull back the rack of gear.
Oh God, no, I don't have them in top 5. I have EQs.
No. I'm gonna ask the top 5, and then you point them out on the rack of gear.
Oh, that's hard. I use the.
So number 1 is your go-to equalizer in the box.
In the box is what's it called? It's a Kit Neve. Hold on.
It's not on your tablet?
No, because I have it here. If I select the channel and I press EQ, it says add EQ, and I press add EQ, and then that one is on.
Ah, that's the one that you have set up as your default.
Right.
Okay.
So that one I do from the deck, and it's the Blackbird one, and I use that one a lot.
I like that strip.
And then I use the EQ.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot too. I like the Sontec.
Okay, the Sontec.
The Sontec's been amazing. I mean, I started using it only on the tubas because it's so clean and so transparent. The high end is like the real deal. But I just started using it on other things. You know, I'll just put it on. And I just put it on a bass, and the thing just jumped at me.
Oh yeah.
So
have you tried it on a lead vocal yet?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I can actually use it on everything. I was like, oh wow, this is a mastering EQ. This is wonderful, and no, it's actually pretty kick-ass on anything. The mid-range is also, I was telling you, it's amazing. Around the frequencies that I hate, now I'm adding them.
Exactly, like 800 hertz has been my existence forever, but it sounds great. There's like 3 things 800 hertz actually sounds good on. You know, the Alltech EQ, which, you know, Kazrog and Devin Powers actually just did a new version of that sounds amazing. 800 hertz rules on that, and 800 hertz rules on a Sontec. You know, besides that, you can pretty much throw that frequency out the fucking door as far as
on this one kicks butt. Another thing I've been using a lot is the S-Press. And not just on guitars.
Yeah, tell. So you've been abusing S-Press. We've been throwing it on mixes, and where you?
I've been using it in parallel on my mix, and then when I take it off, my mix becomes a freaking mosquito. You know, it's like, holy shit, I better put that back on. You know.
Exactly. You know, when I discovered that, you know, I was like, hold on, what the fuck? And then I called Ryan.
Dude, yeah, it was so good. I was like, dude, wait, I have like a 12-hour session, dude. I'm not getting up at 7 a.m. to go throw fucking S-Press on a mix. And I did it, and I was like, oh, that's special. Like,
yeah. So that will be turned into a plugin. We won't tell you that it's S-Press. You know, we'll probably give it some other bullshit name, and then people will be mad when they figure it out. But
I love that, man. The freaking null police.
Fuck them.
You know? I gotta tell you, I'm not. I mean, I can be technical, but I've never been very technical. I know I like something when I hear it. Like if I hear something and I like it, I don't have to be messing around with anything, you know. So a dude told me, oh, you're one of those, if it sounds good to you guys, you go with it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, that's an insult now. Yeah, that's an insult.
No, right? No, but I'm like, I got all those just listening, not measuring. I don't. That's not my job.
People would be like, this fucking idiot's running his mix through, you know, vintage 30 speakers, and it's just like, sounds rad, sounds good to me, man.
So good.
That's something that you develop through the years, man, to be able to actually listen and make decisions. You know, that's not something that you can watch videos, you can do anything, but time on the saddle, you develop, you got your own, everybody's got their own taste, you know. I mean, I can mix. I remember I mixed a song at South Beach Studios when Tom Loralgi used to live there, and I was the only one that he would say, hey, Cesar can work here, because I would respect all his shit, and it always sounded like me. It never sounded like him. So everybody's different, you know.
So did you ever go up in there when he finished the mix and left the, you know, the EQs up on the desk, and then just run your song through it and see how it sounded?
No, man, I tell you something. I was 26. I got nominated for Best Engineered Album in the Grammys. And I was always a big fan of Tom. We're friends now. And they told me Tommy was coming in to mix a record, and I walked into the office and I told the manager, I'm the assistant on the session. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna assist Tom. So I'm assisting Tom. And Tom goes to the bathroom, you know, to destroy the plumbing, I guess. And there's a old Grammy magazine from the awards, and he's going through it, and he looks at Best Engineered Album, and he sees my name. So he comes back and he goes, Cesar, you're actually an engineer. What the fuck are you doing here? And then we became friends after that. So I mean, I learned a lot from him. from the way I mean, him and his brother are amazing. But I know Tommy more than Chris. I just met Chris a few times, but Tom's amazing.
That's awesome.
I think it's.
So I got to ask, does Tom also crank the top out of 8K on the SSL?
Tom abuses the shit out of everything.
I've heard.
I mean, sometimes he would just tell me, don't touch anything, because he was mixing a project, and just change the tape to the new song, and he would play it, and it sounded amazing. And he just looked at me, just do a few tweaks. And that's the beauty of analog. You can, I mean, if it's a project that's recorded more or less, you know, the tracks in the same, everything, you can just leave everything and just see what you like that you already have set up.
Yeah, at that point, you just strip the auto and rewrite your moves, right?
Right.
I mean, that's how they, you know, everyone asks about how did they mix, you know, whole records back in the day and hold it, you know, one day for a record. And that's how they did it. They spent the majority of the time on the single and then ran it off pretty much.
Right. And then they would do edits too. They would just mix a verse, record it, cut it. I mean, I was at Paisley Park when I was working on Emancipation. And the dude says, hey, we need to record the band. So he recorded the band in sections, and then we had to splice the whole thing together.
Motown style.
You know, that's how I got my white hairs.
So
but, go ahead.
Oh, no. Continue your thought.
No, I was going to say that at least I had like a digital machine that I could back up, you know, the song. Before that, it was, you know, do or die if you fuck it up.
Were you backing up to like a 3348 at Paisley?
He had the Studer one.
Okay.
He didn't. I don't remember the model number. He has Studer machines in both rooms, in his room and in the SSL room. Okay.
So what is your go-to compressor in the box?
Oof. That's a difficult one because I really don't have a go-to.
Look at your tablet, and what's the first one you want to push on?
I like the 1176. I use the Waves 1176.
The CLA 76?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? The black one or the blue one?
It depends. If I really want to mess something up, I'll do the blue one. If I really want to be aggressive, I mean, I like the API 2500, the real one. The one in real life, I think is wonderful because you can make it sound like anything. And I've been using the Lindell. Is nice because you can make it be a feedback compressor, and you also have the filter in the detector, which, you know, you can take low end and boost the high end so the thing reacts differently. So you can do a lot with that thing. That was wonderful. The 1178, I like the Townhouse compressor. I think that's Brainworks.
Yeah, Brainworks. You're actually the second person who's brought up the Townhouse compressor to me.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. That was pretty nice too.
Do you like to use it on mixes, or do you like to use it on like drums?
I use that one on the mix, but I've been using very little. In when you compare, it does a lot when you don't abuse it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay.
But I change. You know, I change. If I open a session from 2 months ago, I'll go, who the hell mixed this? You know, and then I'll start
that's my problem.
And then I'll start figuring out why I did that. You know, because I you know, I may learn something from you and say, holy shit, Rick told me to try this, and now I like it. You know, and I'm always trying to change a little bit. You know, to look for new colors and this and that and the other. So
no,
right now,
and that's what's really one of my favorite parts about digital is like analog is a commitment. You know, you're buying these things, you're holding on to them for as hopefully until they're dead, you know, and plugins, you're like, oh, I got a new plugin. This is great. And then you find another plugin. It's also great.
Another plugin.
Right. It's a different way of working. It's almost like a different art form, you know?
No, absolutely.
Same thing with analog. I mean, I spent hours mixing a song. And the producer, which was Tom Dowd, tells me, let me hear the rough you did at Criteria. The rough was done on their Neve. And when I played the rough, man, we could never get close to the sound of that console. So it's analog. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, but
So let's talk about that because that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't experience nowadays, which you just brought up Tom Dowd, an absolute legend that you had the pleasure to work with. And I was hoping that you'd bring it up so we could segue into it. But, he has always been inspiring to me because I actually, joined this industry when I was 16 years old, right around the same age he was when he did it. And he just did it in such a spectacular way that it's hard not to recognize and be inspired. But a lot of kids nowadays don't know much about Tom. So, tell us about your time with him.
The most humble guy, the nicest guy. He would listen. I mean, the fact that he could do everything didn't mean he was on top of me. He would let me mic the drums. He would let me do whatever I want. Even when I was mixing, he would come in and make some changes and stuff. But I remember one time we had the band set up to ready to record, and we couldn't get rid of this hum in this guitar amp. And I think I told you the story, Ryan.
Dude, this is a great story.
And he let us go, man. And he was just looking at us, not saying a word. And then he calls me in. He goes, Cesar, just have the guy stand there, record the freaking bus. Let's record the part. Then we'll flip the face and put the fader up, and most of it will go away. And it did. It's just, it was like common sense, And he would do stuff like that. I mean, time compression. We had no time compression. The way that I used to do it with him, if we had to do it, it was with, I don't know if you guys remember the Roland SBX 80 box.
No.
It's a sync box.
Okay.
So you sync it and it tells you, you got the BPM and everything. So we would record a 1K tone on the tape and vary speed the tape machine till the machine set the tempo that you wanted. And then we would patch the oscillator next to that and run the one that was sped up through a DMX, which was the only thing that was halfway decent, and tune it down on like a guitar string till it stops vibrating. And then when it did, we transferred 2 tracks at a time.
So I was just about to ask, so you transfer it 2 tracks at a time?
Right, because with the synchronizer. I mean, it was like a massive operation, and now it's a button, I mean, most people don't know how time compression works. They just know that they just put the number and it's done,
No, absolutely. So when you worked with Tom, I know he was a Criteria guy, but he also worked in a few other studios around there. Did you end up working with him, in a couple other spots?
I recorded a whole project at Criteria and Studio A when they had the Neve there, which looked tiny. And then I mixed it at South Beach Studios, which is the studio that I put together for Chris Blackwell, where Tom Lord-Alge ended up making that his home for years. Mm-hmm. So we mixed it there.
Okay.
So he would move around. I mean, he was just a Miami dude.
So was that the one project you worked with him on, or did you have a chance to work with him on a couple?
No, I just did that whole project from beginning to end. I may have done something with him here and there, but I mean, I remember that was like a project that I got to spend with him. Sometime we recorded it, we mixed it. He would do 3 or 4 takes and then take cassettes home and come back and tell me he wanted the first verse from take 1 on the multi-track and verse 3 from take 4 and the chorus 4. So we would splice. That's how he worked back then, and he wanted everyone playing together. There was rarely any overdubs unless if we had to fix something.
Interesting. So yeah, you were just taking whole chunks.
He wanted people to interact. It's a whole different thing recording a band at the same time than doing overdubs.
Absolutely, man. So moving on, what's your favorite limiter in the box?
Oh my God, I have to tell you that when I need a limiter in the channel, I use the Matrix Halo channel strip. I think you had something to do with that.
I mean, that's them, but
no, I know.
But I'm a big fan. I'm a proponent. We're in business together. Full disclosure, everybody.
Full disclosure, sorry guys.
But let me tell you something though. I used to use like the fab filter and blah blah blah, and then I think Kuma told me about Good Math, and I was like, shit, man. So I started using it, and I was like, I had mastering guys calling me, telling me, "How are you getting this volume?" I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Sorry. So,
Oh,
so someone's coming in to say
oh,
goodbye.
sorry. I thought you
No,
guys
you're
were
no, you're
trolling
fine. I,
me. So I started using Good Math, and what I noticed about Good Math is that on electronic music is amazing, but it's even more amazing when I do something that's all instruments, nylon guitars, drums, bass. It's a lot more musical. I got the Acoustica one, the one that's one knob. I forgot what it's called.
The pump or something like that. I don't know. Well, I mean,
Fire the Clip.
oh, clip. Yep.
And that one is very nice on electronic music, but when I put it on something that's not electronic music, it's just like running your song through a washer and dryer. And Good Math does it. It's just, yeah, it's got that magic little button in the A.
The a-hole. You can say it.
No, we cursing. I'm trying to hold back.
he's modest.
I'm trying to hold back, but it is nice to have these tools, man, and be able to take them anywhere on the backpack.
No, and thank you so much. You have always been a big proponent of Good Math, and I love getting your text messages when you send me photos, and you're hyped about it because I know you're making incredible music. I know you have incredible ears. If it didn't sound good to you, you wouldn't use it.
I used it on a big artist from Mexico, and it was all acoustic stuff. And I think that's when I texted you and I said, dude, this is like, it's on every session here.
Well, thank you. So moving on, what is your go-to reverb in the box?
Oh my God, that changes. I have two AMT 250 since I really used the real one for a lot of years. I like it. And I have the TC Electronic one. I have the, I think it's the SRS 250. That one's nice too. I like the Seventh Heaven. It's nice. And for the money, man, I love all the Valhalla stuff.
Yeah, Valhalla.
You just go pay $50 and you have a reverb that's is timeless. Two, they're very natural sounding. If you want to go crazy, you have the super massive. You have this. Those are amazing. I use those all the time.
Which one's your favorite Valhalla?
I'm sorry?
Like which one's your go-to for Valhalla?
Their main reverb.
Vintage verb?
The vintage verb.
Which color do you like it on? Do you like it when it's blue or orange or silver?
I move around. Sometimes blue, sometimes it depends.
Yeah, I definitely I'm a fan of the blue. I'm a fan of the 480, so there's something that connects with me on that one.
I also like the SSL Expert, believe it or not. There's one program that I really like. I think it's called the Oxford Plate or something, and so that one sounds nice.
Okay, and is that a lead vocal thing, or what are you throwing into that?
That's a lead vocal thing, yeah.
Okay. And when it comes to, reverbs on your lead vocal, you always have a great reverb sound. From listening to your work, it definitely sounds like you are an expert at blending multiple reverbs together when it comes to lead vocals. And, we've talked a little bit about your thought process on that, but, tell us.
Now I go more with the feel, but I learned from a guy that used to set his reverbs to the key of the song, not pitch wise, but frequency wise.
Mm-hmm.
So he would set up the cutover frequencies, the crossover, even the RT time, and that was fun and it sounded great, but it took too much time. And I'm very impatient because if I have an idea and I don't get to it right away, it's gone. I may never get to it.
Absolutely. But, that has...
Oh shit, hold on.
We're going to have to actually send you another link here because let me just send you another link and we'll hop right back. Okay. Okay. Hey, so sorry about that.
What's up? No, I'm
Hmm.
good.
Okay,
Better now.
so let's talk about blending these reverbs. How many do you typically use on a lead vocal?
Sometimes just one. I just like making scene changes. So I may split the vocal track. I'm old school. I may split the vocal track into 3 tracks, sometimes even 4, because I may want a certain sound for the verse, and then I want a scene change. Maybe I want a delay to come in for the release, and then I want a doubler and some other stuff in the chorus. But I don't like to have my hands tied with automation.
Yep, that's
So
how
I
I
like
feel.
to have them separate, so that way I can always grab a fader and bring it up and bring it down and adjust an EQ or something. And I have everything here. So so I may use multiple ones, but I like making scene changes in my mixes, not just in vocal sounds. Maybe the drums will have a different sound in the verse than they do in the chorus. So I do that with vocals a lot. I'll just work the verse, but then it doesn't really work for me in the chorus, so I have to do something else. And it's just a way that I learned to work, and I kind of still do it that way.
That's
So
awesome.
I'll use delays, reverbs, and this, but then I more or less a different one. It's always depending on the song dictates that, you know.
No, 100%. So the next thing on our list of the top 5 though is actually delay. So what's your go-to delay in the box?
Oh my God, I like a really crappy one by Audio Damage. I
Okay.
think it's called the dub delay.
Dub delay.
Yeah, it's cheesy, cheap, and it's beautiful. I like the one that I really love, and it's the acoustic. I forget the names of these things. Lemon.
Okay.
Some of the programs, the feedback like sounds like a PCM 42. It doesn't sound like a robot, like the AMS DMX. If you compare the feedback of an DMX to a PCM 42, you go, I'll take the 42 because it's analog. So each echo's got a vibe, you know. And this plugin has that. Like the best feedback I've heard is the Lemon. So
The
I'll use that one a lot.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool to hear. And I mean, we've kind of hit our top 5, but if there's any standouts, that you haven't gone over, please say now.
The Acoustica makes great plugins. The only bad thing is that A, they're heavy, and B, they put it puts everything on a different time zone when it comes to latency.
Yes.
It does.
So if you put it on your master fader, you have to turn that down if you're going to be using the faders to automate. But their tape plugin it's one of my favorites. I mean, I'll use it on the drums. I used to use it on the master bus, but I stopped.
Which one is that?
Their tape plugin, I think is spelled hold on a second.
Is that Taup or whatever?
Yes. That one is nice. I don't know what else. I always use the waves CLA effect. I like that. Sometimes I just use the distortion.
Just the distortion.
If I want to blur like a delay or a double on the lead track, then I'll just put that on it, and it just makes things blurry, which sometimes is nice. It takes all the definition out, and you can kind of have a different texture when you blend it in. So I use the hell out of that one on anything. Just
Okay.
that one's nice.
That's awesome. So do you do that a lot where you're adding effects to your reverbs and delays then?
Yes. I mean, like if I need to blur something, I go for distortion. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, and they just
tell us some of your favorite distortions.
I use that one. Sans Amp is wonderful.
The original Pro Tools Sans Amp.
Yes. I like the distortion in the Sugar plugin also.
Okay.
I have the Isotope Trash is also nice.
There's a preset from Trash that I love if you want to know about it.
Which one?
If you're working on like a rock bass, and you have like just like a pretty shitty bass DI, like if you've got a bass DI that's already got some clank to it, this thing is not the thing. But if you've got, you know how you get those dull bass DIs that feel like, you know, they didn't play with new strings and stuff?
Mhm.
There's one called Bodybuilder in
Oh
there,
God.
and it will turn any dull, shitty Squire P bass into like a music man.
I wrote that down. I did forget about one delay though.
What's
Hold on.
that?
There's one delay that I love. Let me just put it on. This thing is awesome. It's the Pulsar Echo Rec.
Okay.
That thing, download the demo. I think it's amazing.
Okay, I'll try it out. Pulsar, they're the people who make the 1178 plugin you were talking about as well, right?
Yes, yes,
Great.
yes. I have the 1178 as well.
What do you like your 1178s on?
Oof. On anything, on guitars, on keyboards, on anything, because you get that's another beauty, you know. You can be very aggressive or you can be subtle. When you're aggressive, sometimes it's nice to use compression as an effect, not to control, you know, to control gain, you know, to level things off. Sometimes it's nice just to hit the gas and turn it into something else.
Yeah.
And that one is great for that.
Yeah, just as like a hype box.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's awesome, man. So, you know, as we roll into the new year, what are you looking forward to?
Ooh. Not losing myself and hopefully keep adapting to new things and learning and changing and you know what I've been doing. I mean, I can do all the analog stuff, but I've gotten into this. I have a way of working now that I would have never dreamed of. I mean, if I would have known about this when I was 20 years old, holy shit, man, these kids have all this. You know, I mean, I had to calibrate tape machines. It was fun, but that's all gone. Everything is fast now, you know? Including burning your, you know, running your ears down on the ground because this play button or the space bar is a machine gun on your ear. So you need to take more breaks. You need to not lose yourself in the studio.
Totally understood, man.
Analog tape machine will give you, you know, 10, 15 seconds, 20-second break every time you rewind, every time you go forward. Not this thing.
Not at all. So, you know, what else would make your life better in the box?
Right now, oof. I'm not sure. I mean, I
like
have
I've got it all.
no, it's not that I have it all. It's that like I have a setup right now that I don't want anything else. I mean, there's always something that's gonna come out that you're gonna go, wow, I gotta have that.
But you don't feel like anything's missing.
No, I mean, I have everything. I have 16 faders for just let me just show you. And then I have this only showing me VCAs. So I'm gonna work on the drums. Boom, these are my drums. And then it goes on my screen. So, oh, Cesar, the bass, I press the bass, only the bass tracks show up. So I have everything like keyboards, vocals, so I can, it's like a,
It looks like the majority of your faders are only moving there on that left side, man. Do you even need the other one?
no, because this is how it works. Sometimes like the keyboards just go on here and there's another page.
Yeah.
But these are my drums, so they end here. And then bass, there's synth bass, and then keyboards and main vocals are just, it's a nice way to navigate through big sessions. So this plus the macros plus everything else, no, I don't think I want anything else right now. I'm pretty happy.
That's awesome to hear, man.
Yo,
All my friends tell me, oh, you got to get some analog stuff and run your mix. Once I get something in digital, I like to keep it there. But that's just me. Unless I have like the baddest converter to go in and out of, then if I'm gonna just leave everything in the box.
Hey, I can appreciate that.
Digital man.
So, C's, how do you feel about Atmos?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that one.
Oh, I'm gonna ask, of course.
I think it's gonna go away like the other ones that I got hyped on before.
You think this is 5.1.3, dude?
No, I'm just looking at the consumer. I don't see any consumers excited about it. You know, they just want to hear music. I know you can listen to it in headphones and stuff, and I guess maybe this will be different. But when it was 5.1, I was like, oh, you got to do 5.1. And I think I did a couple of 5.1 mixes, but then it went away. I mean, who knows? But I'm not going there.
Me either. It's one of those. For me, I believe in surround audio. I believe in spatial audio. I don't think that Atmos sounds good in the way that the majority of people are going to listen to it, which is in headphones.
Did you guys get in that Tesla at NAM?
No.
The Atmos. So you get in the front seat and you only hear the things that are Conga.
You
You get in the back seat, right? In the back seat, you kind of hear it, you know. But me being a mixer, I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, they put the reverb in the back, and you know, and I like to listen to music because I like a song, because I like a hook, I like something that makes you want to play that song again. And yes, there's a technical side to what we do, big time. But then there's a human side, which is the consumer that knows nothing about any of this technical stuff. They're just going to work at 9 and they play a song and they want to play it back. And when I sat there, I was like, man, if you sit in the back, you're only going to hear the reverb. So it was kind of weird. And I'm sure it's not cheap to have that system in your car. So I don't see consumers buying Atmos, you know, decoders and this and speakers. I mean, like regular people like you and me, I listen to music and, you know, my sound bar in my car and, you know, in shitty systems.
Absolutely. I mean, the number one place that I listen to music is on my phone or NS10s. So
I hate NS10s with
A
a
lot of
passion,
people-
and I used them for years.
a lot of people
I
do.
don't hate him. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I ended up using them with a sub for years.
So you got Studio 100s back there. You got a subwoofer for those?
These are nice. These are like a negative of the NS10s. They have the high end, they have a little low end, and they don't have the mid range.
See, they're like NS10s with blankets on them to me.
No, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I will say that I appreciated the ScanSpeak driver a lot. I put those in my NS10s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so my NS10s have that driver in it.
Oh my
It's
God.
got the same tweeter as the NS10 though.
If I get an NS10, my friends are gonna roast me because I've been.
The big problem that I had with that, besides the fact that like it's probably my hearing and I'm getting all fucked up thinking that NS10s are, you know, everything sounds like NS10s with a blanket on them. So, you know.
I don't know, but maybe, you know what? Maybe I like these so much because it took me years to learn how to work at low volume.
Yes.
And sometimes my volume is so low that, like, you know, the client will fucking say, hey, man, you mind bringing it up a little bit, you know? So I do have to crank it sometimes to hear certain things, but most of the day, my volume's pretty low.
That's cool.
I worked with I forgot the guy's name. He mixed all the Talking Head stuff. Jamaican guy. I don't know if it was Carl Peterson, Stephen Stanley.
Okay.
And I was his assistant. And I was working with all these amazing engineers. And Stephen comes in, and Stephen looks like he just left his job at the Jamaican roti place and came to the studio to mix something, like a regular dude. And everything was lit up like a Christmas tree. The input on the delays were heading red. The overload lights on the SSL were all dancing. And he worked all day with the Yuri's 813s on 11. Like the volume dot, like I had to wear earplugs to work with the guy. So my first impression about the dude was, oh my God, this guy's crazy. This mix is going to be horrendous. But then I would come the next morning and actually play it, and it was fucking amazing.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean that is amazing, you know, to be able to go and see someone who's working against what you would consider the norms. And
No, everything looked fucked up.
Yeah.
Everything was the complete opposite. What they tell you not to do, this guy was doing it all and overdoing it.
And it sounded great, right?
It did. I mean,
That-
go listen to some of those records.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, that see stuff like that makes me smile.
So sometimes, you know, don't look at something. Just
I wish more people thought that way, you know.
you know, one time when I said, "Oh fuck, I gotta just stop being, you know, a pussy." This guy came in to record a bass, and I had a tube compressor. It was a Summit something, and I plug it in, and the guy goes, "Oh my god, what did you do to the bass, man? And my bass has never sounded like this." A studio guy from here, from Miami, and I look, and the freaking needle on that thing was like, you know, spun. And I went to move it. He goes, "Don't touch it." So, you know, then that line came, you know, to me saying, you know, we're doing audio, not video, so don't look at the meters.
I love that. Doing audio, not
That
video.
It's so perfect, man.
If something breaks up, you're gonna hear it if you're paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you should need, you know.
So, but you know, we live in a different era, man. Everything's fast, everything's which is nice. We'll see how much longer I do this for.
So, I mean, when you retire, where are you going, bro?
I don't know that I'm gonna retire, man. This is not work. No, it has never been work. I've never had a real job. This
Understood.
doesn't feel like work. Yeah, sometimes you have to deal with people, but I mean, as you get older, you kind of learn to make people comfortable. To not you need to figure out your own way to even when you're dealing with difficult people. I don't fight anymore. I used to say, "Fuck you, this is gonna stay like this," and now I say yes, but then I'll slowly guide you to where I want to go. So whatever you fight in the studio, bad vibes, not good. B, you gotta, to me, is I'm happy when I see that they're happy, but I gotta be happy too. So sometimes I have to change something that I don't want to change, but do it in a way that I'll be okay with. So I think on that side, you have to kind of just make sure that it's nice when people call you back and give you a project, you know. So, you know, good vibes in the studio, number one. That's the shit they don't teach you in school, you know.
No, absolutely, man. So, how long is your longest working relationship with a client?
Oof, oh my God. There's a producer who's now we've been friends for over 20 years. And yeah, that would be him, Cachorro from Argentina, the producer that I'm working with. And most of those horns we got together. Not all of them, but most of them.
That's awesome.
I mean, if I take a picture when I'm there next month, he has his Grammys and then his partner, they all together. So it's like 3 times. That would be a picture right there. They have them all in the studio and it's like rush hour traffic, you know, LA.
That's amazing. I
So
love it.
yeah, him. I mean, I think I worked with him for, I lost track how many albums we mixed together. And good stuff too.
That's cool.
But you always have the artists that come around every 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Record with a song, with a single. Now everybody's doing singles, so
Hey, more power to him.
hard to keep track. I was like, oh shit! This morning I was making changes on a song, and I'm like, oh shit! I gotta print that reverb so it doesn't. It was not on that song. It was on this song. So it's like.
That's you know, it's really nice to see your spot and see that you're happy, man. You know, the work you're turning out over the past year has just been incredible to listen to, and you're working at an amazing pace. You know,
I think we're extremely lucky to do what we do, and sometimes it's not easy because you can go through slow times when you're starting, when you're learning. It's all about who you know, but it's also about, you know, knowledge and not just technical knowledge. Like I listen to music every morning. I look for new things and I look for new ideas, and I always play. I have an hour every morning early that I just listen to music, and then I'll hear something that I like. I go, holy shit, and I'll save it, and then I have it as a reference, and then may trigger an idea with a song that comes your way that you say this will be cool. And it's like plugins for your brain. I mean, it's ideas. I mean, I come from the era that we learned to work with more creativity and less resources. And now we have way more resources than creativity, I mean, we have a million EQs if I want. I can have whatever I want. But that's the key, I think, to learn to work with, be more creative. You can mix a great song with very little. You're creative. And if you don't lose yourself in this, mayhem of tools we have. They're nice to have when we need them, but.
Absolutely. Do you believe that option paralysis is real?
I'm sorry?
So do you believe that option paralysis is real?
I'm not sure.
That the ability when people have too many options that they get stuck because they don't know how to actually make it.
Some people do, some people don't. I mean, I used to start a song by bringing up the bass drum and the snare and making it sound good. And now I kind of just I have faders, which is nice. Now I throw the faders up and I listen to the song before I start mixing. I don't just start with one thing. I'll do a rough mix and I'll start making, this may need this may need that. But everyone's different. I mean, I have friends. We have actually tonight, we have like we call it a cantina, which is like a Mexican hangout bar, but we do it on a Zoom. And it's an engineer in Puerto Rico, another one's in Mexico, another one's in Arizona. And a lot of these guys are very knowledgeable. They're much, much younger than me. We're always exchanging ideas. I mean, we get messed up. We drink tequila and beer, and it's not like a professional thing. But you need to just keep learning. And I learn from those kids. Those kids learn from me too. So
That's
the
awesome.
thing is just to keep moving. But man, just the song is why we're here. And I know you've heard that before.
No, absolutely. We definitely have.
Yeah, I mean, and now I know why I went to the cantina thing, because there's a kid in there that's extremely, like, he uses a ton of stuff, man. When I see his sessions, I'm like, dude, how do you navigate through that? But he does, and he does a great job. So I mean, everyone's different. I mean, if you just see all the routing he's got going, it's like it's a maze. It's a maze, So everyone's different.
Well, this is great, man. Thank you so much for your time. And I have one more question. We talked a little bit about Good Math. We talked a little bit about the Soundtech, but are you utilizing any of the other Make Believe plugins?
Actually, I brought my friend Stanley. He's an engineer from Brazil. He's amazing. And I told him, hey, come check out these plugins. So he comes in here and he puts, I think he put one of the parallel process. I think it was parallel 3 and 4 or something. He put it on some keyboards. And without even moving the slider, he goes, dude, listen to it. And just putting the plugin already makes it sound like something else, and this dude is sharp. I'm like, holy shit, you're right. I think he ended up getting most of them.
Oh, that's amazing.
When he left here.
Well, thank you for
Oh yeah.
You have the parallels, which I use. You have the EQ. I love. I love all the functions that you can just search for the frequency you want to destroy or boost.
Do you like to use it with sauce or without sauce?
I like the sauce.
You like it?
I like the sauce.
Yeah, I always have it on.
Me too.
And the input thing is nice when you crank it on certain things.
Yeah, it'll definitely blow up. I like blowing up basses, particularly with it.
I like blowing up delays and even you know, a reverb and then filtering all the high end off, and it's just a whole very aggressive way of messing things up.
That is very interesting. I'm going to try that out because it gets explodey on things like room mics and stuff. So I'm assuming it would just explode up a reverb too.
It does, but what I do is that I try to filter all that high end stuff.
Absolutely, you know, but I'm assuming that it adds a lot of movement.
It's just violent, I guess is the word. But yeah, I mean, it's I think I have all your plugins. I have the parallel process, the Express, the Soundtech, which has changed my whole way of working, you know, in the past few months. And the good math is incredible. I have a story, right? Quick story. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I was mixing this record, and I send the mix out, and the A&R guy calls me and tells me, "Oh, this is the rough mix sounds better. You need to bring the guitars up. You need to bring the." Practically, he was telling me to just bring everything. You can bring the keyboards up. Bring this. So I grab the same mix, and I just give it a lot more volume and send it back. And then he calls me and tells me, "Now it's perfect." And I told him, "Dude, all I did was give you more volume. Like, you guys are full of shit." It's like, but anyway, so that story came, you know, that doesn't happen to me anymore with Good Man. Now they're begging me to just send them less volume. I take it off when I send it to master. I don't take it off actually because I like what it does, but I will bring it down a little bit.
You know, it's funny because I like what it does too, so I'll use a good math after my good math to turn it down when it needs to go to Sterling or somewhere.
You got to give them a little room to work, and I've had mastering guys. There's a guy Felipe here who's great. He's got a great room, great ears, and he told me, "No, I ended up using your loud version because I couldn't match it.
Ooh.
I couldn't match the sound." And it's not just the volume; it's, you know, it's how it packs it in there.
Yep, absolutely. It's the box it puts it in.
It's how it packs it in there. You know, it's that sausage maker.
I'm so very happy you appreciate it, and you know, thank you so much for your time today.
No, man, I love you guys.
I would like to come down and visit you and get to see your world, and you know, if that's acceptable, come see what you got going on, man.
Sounds good. You know where to find me.
Okay, well, I'm going to take you up on that offer. Well, you have a wonderful day,
All right,
and
man.
we'll talk soon.
It was nice to see you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Ryan, stay out of trouble.
We will.
Later.
Have
See
a
ya.
great one.